handful of gyms in Okanagan, BC have put their foot down and turned their dumbbells up when it comes to the province's COVID-19 mandate that orders their doors to be shut. I'm Drea Humphrey with Rebel News, and in today's report, I sit down to interview Iron Energy gym owner Brian Mark and his wife, Kristen Mark, about why fines and threats of closure for staying open haven't stopped them from standing in the gap for all of those who wish to be free to get fit.
Warning: censorship.
Worship, education, bodily autonomy, and physical fitness are just some of the basic liberties Canadians used to be able to engage in freely. That is, until the highly survivable COVID-19 virus turned up, and then big pharma billionaires and political health lords alike told us the only way back to normalcy would be medical tyranny.
So eventually there will be sort of this digital immunity proof that will help facilitate the global reopening up.
Canadians know that the way to get through this pandemic is for everyone to get vaccinated. So unless people have a medical exception, they will not be able to board a plane or a train in Canada if they are unvaccinated.
Okay. They didn't actually admit to being tyrannical, but after nearly 2 years of enduring the powers that be's yo-yo COVID-19 restrictions that often focus more on compliance rather than explaining their driving science, can you really blame the droves of Canadians who are just now starting to feel like doing their part means standing up and saying enough is enough? In a recent report, I interviewed a Vancouver-based fitness instructor named David Turnbull about the many benefits to in-person fitness services, including combating comorbidities like obesity. After all, studies continuously show that being overweight is a high risk factor in those that die with COVID-19, including this study from the CDC, which shows that 73% of people who died with COVID were overweight and 50% of those were considered obese. So while fitness instructors like Turnbull and gym employees like Clint Pratt, who, by the way, took his workout to the open mall, since COVID apparently doesn't spread in such settings, are starting to speak out, some gym owners like those at Iron Energy Gym are taking a stand and opening their gym for the public who feel it's essential for them to stay healthy by working out there. Unlike 90% of the Canadian media you see, Rebel News doesn't take a penny of the millions of dollars in bailout money handed out to other media by the government. When we report on government overreach, we are not biting the hands that feed us. Instead, we are loyal to and accountable to you, the public. So if that's refreshing to hear and you want to support our independent journalism, you can do so by opening up another screen and heading to rebelnews.com/donate. Chip in what you can there. And as always, we appreciate your support. And for now, here is the latest on Iron Energy Gym.
Free BC! Free BC! Get up, Free BC! Free BC! Free BC! Free BC!
This is what the government is doing. They're shutting down the gyms. When we're fighting for mental health, we're fighting for the community. We're the only people fighting for the community. Everybody needs to stand up. That's how we do it. Canada, everybody watching, this is enough. We need to stand up.
Gyms are essential! Gyms are essential!
We're not here to kick everyone out today. So the other thing is when they said that we were here to support them, our role as the RCMP is to ensure that there's no violence to people. Yes, sir. You can protest, you can put your signs up, you can have all your rights. That's what I work for. The only reason we are present here today is to ensure that you people are safe and that they are safe. Our intention is to lead right now. Keep the peace. Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you.
The big thing is anything that you want, so I'm sure that you'll
So that was just a little bit of the excitement happening at Iron Energy Gym. And right here, I have in front of me the owners of that. Oh my goodness. So Tell us, I want to back it up a little bit. Tell us about your gym, what makes it unique, if it is, and how long you've been doing that.
So we've, me, my wife, and there's 4 other owners. We've had the gym for about 12 months. When we first took over the gym, our intention was to make a statement. Like, we wanted to be something different. All 4 of the owners are super passionate about fitness. Like, I've been working out for 14 years, and we didn't really have a place that was like our home, you know, like, a lot of the gyms are very like corporate in the way that they're designed, and it didn't really feel like a place to like lift heavy weights, put down heavy weights, play metal music. And that's kind of what we created. And so we created Iron Energy to be very different. Like, we've got a giant mural on our wall, and we painted our gym black and red, and we got all brand new Atlantis equipment. So we went all out with the gym, and our intention was to make a statement and to be something different that in the fitness community. We wanted to be the go-to gym in West Kelowna and in Western Canada.
And right now, with the public health orders, you guys are the only gym to go to. So tell us a little bit after this last mandate came out regarding your business. What was that aha moment where you said, no, not happening. We are not shutting the doors? What was going through your guys' mind then?
Well, at first we were like, okay, so first of all, when the mandate came out 3 days before Christmas, and right 3 days before we're supposed to be spending Christmas with our family, saying that like no family gatherings and the gyms are closed, we were like, no, like that's just like not okay with us. So me and Kirsten are both very defiant by nature. Like, I don't like being told what to do, and being told what to do without any logical sense, I was like, absolutely not. So we decided that we were going to be silently defiant at first. Yeah. Basically opening our doors to members and letting them come work out, and, you know, sneaking them in, like not having anybody in the parking lot, and nobody's allowed to bring their gym bags, just kind of like being sneaky. But then when RCMP came in 4 days after we decided to stay open, we had to make a decision as owners. There's 5 of us involved in the conversation, and it's like, we can either, you know, blindly comply and just basically roll over, stating that like we don't have a backbone and we're willing to just like follow orders, or we can stand up for what's right and accept the risk that comes with that, because we knew that like we might potentially be risking fines and risking the business license getting revoked. But all of the owners were on the exact same page, and we were like, nope, this doesn't make sense. We're not on board with these mandates. And so we're going to make a stand. And not only are we going to make a stand, but we're going to make it very public that we are open, because if we're not going to be silent, we're going to be loud. And so that's what we did. We like prepared for everything. So the video that you guys saw on the internet where we had those signs that said Free BC, like, me and my wife planned that with our 13-year-old daughter. We sat down as a family, and our 13-year-old daughter wrote out the signs. Those were all written by, thank you so much. We just got a donation from a member. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Enjoy your supplements. We appreciate you.
People have been supporting us like crazy. I just got a $50 donation. So grateful. But like, we planned that as a family. I was like, okay, Kirst, so this is what's going to happen. When the cops come, I'm like, I want you to go grab all the members. I told my 13-year-old daughter who was on the live, I'm like, I want you to grab my phone and press record. Kirsten rallies the troops, gives them all signs. And when the cops try to shut us down, we're going to rally outside and we're going to record it, and we're going to get everyone to record it, and we're going to make a statement. Because like what's happening right now isn't right.
It's not right. And that's why we stood up. I think that like, we're not the type of people, like, yes, we are defiant when it comes to, we're the type of people that are going to say what's on our mind. But when it comes to these mandates, like as a gym, we followed everything, like literally everything. And to have the rug taken out from underneath us, like me and Brian looked at each other and I knew we both had hit our breaking point, and it was time to like, to take a stand, because it just was not right. What was happening with the fight?
Yeah, and there's obviously physical and even mental health things that are so good with going to the gym. But what does it mean as a small business owner? What would it have meant if you guys complied again?
I think for us, what it would have meant is that I'm willing to compromise my core values and who I am as a person to like blindly follow orders like everybody else. And I'm just not willing to be a sheep anymore. You know, like I think for the last 2 years, the reason we say enough's enough has kind of been our quote, is because me and her were both like, are you joking? Like me and her both, like, so like, I know that there's some people that are like, you know, hardcore against the vaccine, and I respect that. Me and Kirst both got vaccinated because we love traveling. So we played the game, you know, we wore the masks, we did the thing. And then to do everything that we're asked and still get the rug pulled out from underneath us. When we looked at malls, and like the malls were like packed full of people,
casinos,
thousands and thousands of people. And then, you know, you go to the bar and I can drink alcohol and I can eat terrible food, but I can't go work on my immune system. It's like, that's it. So as a small business, like we just decided like, let's all have a backbone and let's stand up for what's right. And let's get loud about it so that other small businesses do the exact same thing. Because unless we stand up and unless we do something, all of us are going to continue to get steamrolled. Yeah. All of us.
Well, I like that there was a lady, I don't know who said it, but I heard the voice in the video and she's like, so are you guys going to the malls next? And it's so true. Was it you? Yeah, it's so true. But you know, it's kind of like Groundhog Day, because Rebel News has been reporting on the other side of the story, you know, about the government overreach since the beginning of COVID-19, really. And we saw a similar thing happen to the churches, where they weren't free to worship, or any religion wasn't really free to worship. And the science to actually lock the churches down had nothing to do with risks. And now we know that the same thing is happening to the gym. I don't know if you guys ever heard that Build Back Better meeting with Patty Daly. She is the chief medical officer at Vancouver Coastal Health. And she said that the passport, for example, which is, you know, a sweeping infringement on people, she said it had nothing to do with the risks of COVID and everything to do with the incentive of making people get the vaccine. So, and she said that specifically about gyms and restaurants. So when you hear, we'll play a clip of that right here.
The vaccine passport requires people to be vaccinated to do certain discretionary activities, such as go to restaurants, movies, gyms. Not because these places are high risk. We're not actually seeing COVID transmission in these settings. It's really to create an incentive to improve our vaccination coverage.
So when you hear someone in that position saying it's not about, we're not seeing spread happen in the gyms, what do you think this is about? What do you think you're really being locked down for?
So that's interesting. And I feel like that's a rabbit hole that we're not willing to go down, because the fight that we're picking is like, we're picking the mental health fight. Because like, you cannot argue that the gym is not good for mental health. You can't. You cannot argue that the gym is not good for physical health, for immunity. So to be completely honest, I don't know. And I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, because the only fight that we're going to pick is like, our gym is not going to close because there's no science to back it. Like, we are going to be the defiant gym that literally stands up in the face of everything. Like, come with cops and arrest us, because we're ready to record everything. Like, threaten us more, give us more fines, because we will take everything on the chin and we will remain open. And so I'm not exactly sure. And I feel like the rabbit hole goes deeper and deeper. The more that like my eyes start to open, the more that I'm like, whoa. And I don't know. And as an owner of Iron Energy, I don't want to comment on that. But like, what I will say is like, we're picking the mental health matters fight. We're picking the gym is good for your immune system, and the gym will help you fight off any virus that you have. So that's the stance that we're taking, and that's like the direction that we're headed, if that makes sense.
Well, we've seen similar fights with restaurateurs. Chris Scott over in Alberta actually went to jail, not directly for keeping his business open, but he got lots of fines and threatened to close. And then he went to a protest, which was one of the stipulations on him, and actually spent time in jail. So you say you're prepared for that. I understand you're not the only gym doing this fight in Kelowna. Is that correct? Can you tell us a little bit about that? And are they the same as you? Are they willing to keep their doors open, have they said, even if it means they get arrested?
Yeah, so that's such a good question. So there's more gyms in BC. There's a couple in Kamloops that have kept their doors open. And then there's a lot of gyms that are starting to follow suit in Kelowna, because they're starting to see what we're doing. And they're like, oh, like these guys are still open. So we've been in contact with a few gyms. There's a lot of small businesses in Kelowna that are prepared to stand up, because I think that all of us can agree that like, it doesn't add up. Like 1 + 1 does not equal 2. So all of us are kind of like, let's just do something about this. Instead of following orders blindly, like let's all stand up. So there are more gyms following suit in Kelowna. Not publicly yet, but it's going to be soon.
Yeah, it seems like British Columbians are like, enough is enough when it comes to the gym. What is the latest? What have you received in fines and threats? Where are you at with all that?
So the latest was the video that you guys saw online. I'm sure most of you guys have seen it by now, is the latest. We haven't really been in contact with anybody else since then. And in terms of them coming at us, we've directed a lot of traffic to them. So if you guys follow us on Instagram at Iron Energy Gym, basically what we're doing is we're directing traffic where it should go. So like, we're talking to city council members. We put the mayor's phone number in our story, and we were like, call the mayor. We put all of city council's emails in our story. We're like, get a hold of city council. We put the MLA's email in our story, and we're like, get a hold of MLA. So for us, what we're interested in doing is we're interested in like taking the fight back to them, because one thing that the government doesn't understand is like social media changes the game. It changes it levels the playing field. And I don't think that like politicians, like I don't think it's been around long enough for politicians to really see what we can do with social media and the power that we have. And so directing, like we've got, 7,000 or 8,000 people watching our Instagram stories right now. 500 to 1,000 of them are sending emails every time we request. And so I guarantee you, nobody on city council has ever gotten 1,000 emails all at once. That actually makes sense. So what we're trying to do is we haven't received anything yet. We got the $2,300 fine, which we're disputing. We got the notice to close, which I ripped off and I put a sign that says Free BC. And since then, we haven't received anything more from them, but we're starting to send some stuff back. So I disputed the ticket, and then I got in contact with City Council today, letting them know that I would like to appeal their decision to pull my license. And now we're just standing at the gym on guard. So we've got owners on shift from like 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're just waiting. We're just waiting for something to unfold.
Well, we'll be following it closely. I mentioned in the last report about gyms being open that there is one MLA, I'm sure he's made your radar, Ellis Ross, who is also running for the head of the BC Liberals, who says, should he become the head of the BC Liberals, not the same as the federal Liberals, they're not the same organization, that he would put legislation forward to make gyms be essential, so that hopefully...
Pardon me, what's his name?
Ellis Ross, MLA Ellis Ross. So just another thing to be mindful of. And we're starting to see more and more politicians in the last week or so start to speak out against the narrative when it comes to what we've been experiencing restriction-wise with COVID-19. So we're going to follow this closely. Thanks so much for taking the time to be on Rebel News. Keep us updated on the fight. And if anybody wants to keep in touch with you guys, the best way to do it is on your Instagram. Is that correct?
Yeah, so as a unified front, we're Iron Energy Gym in West Kelowna. So if you guys can follow us on Instagram, that's where you guys can keep up to date with everything that we're doing. And we're all on the same page. We're fighting for mental health. We're fighting for freedom. We are pro-choice. We want you to be able, like, you decide what you put in your body or you don't. Like, that's our stance and that's our fight. And we appreciate all the support. We appreciate the opportunity to be on Rebel News. So thank you. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys. It's refreshing to see new faces defending civil liberties in Canada, but if you're new to Rebel News, you might not know that we've been doing that for quite some time. We've partnered with the Democracy Fund charity to help them hire a team of top-notch lawyers who have taken on over 2,000 cases to fight tyrannical COVID-19 fines in Canada and over 20 cases to combat the vaccine passports and no jab, no pay policies that are segregating Canadians today. If that is something you're passionate about, please join our fight by going to fightvaccinepassports.com. This isn't about your vaccination status. This is about keeping Canada strong and free.